Welcome back to the episode of my trading vlog, where basically I've been AFK for a while, and I see your encouraging comments and people are asking where I'm at. I'm okay, my financial situation has changed, so I'm not in the markets anymore, and so my interest in following the markets has also decreased, but I'm thinking, maybe I still just keep the YouTube going. It's always a work in progress. Let's just have a look at the charts. I have not looked at anything in weeks. It looks like I'm open on SLV, and we've come down, we've hit a level of support at 2091. And this is on the minute time frame. I'm going to zoom out to the daily time frame, see what we have here. It looks like we formed, a triangle through here, a symmetrical triangle after an ABC correction. So this actually looks like we might be looking for more upside in the future. Let me just delete some of these lines here. Maybe this channel needs to go away. This uptrend has broken, and that has led to a downward breakout of this triangle you see in yellow. What tends to occur is what's called a pullback, and this is where we've had a downward breakout and the price has now re-entered the pattern. This is pretty typical. It's kind of like a trap. We call it a bear trap in this case. It looks like price is going to go down, then boop, it bounces back up. You can see that the RSI here reached overbought at the very, very peak of that low. Does that make sense? A peak of a low? I don't know. At any rate, typically tends to signal the end of a corrective phase at a higher wave degree. I talk about wave degrees. It's important to know that the price is going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and down. The question is how much, and you can see that in general we are higher than we were from the end of August of last year. And so on a much larger wave degree, we are still trending upward. And so what I see is that we've had an uptrend from there to there, and that's probably the first of 3 waves that are going to end up going higher. And we can actually probably even use what's called the measure rule to project how far that move is going to go. We take the height of this first move, and then we take our extension tool and we apply it to the low of the corrective phase, which is to say the phase that was counter trending the prior phase, which was, of course, up. So sideways is, quote, the counter trend. And we're going to be looking for 2661 in the near future, probably, if we can get an upward breakout of this symmetrical triangle, which we've seen a downward breakout of. So this would be called a busted pattern, I believe, once we get back above the top at 2392. Bukowski goes over all sorts of this, all over this kind of thing in his books. I really encourage you to go to thepatternSite.com. That's his website. So, I'd actually be expecting SLV to be pulling up here, and that tells me that the dollar might finally be ready for correction. I remember distinctly that it broke out to the upside as I expected, and then it didn't correct. It just kept going, and it looks like it's been grinding sideways. It's found some resistance at 106.64, and this very well could be the beginning of a new corrective phase where the dollar goes into retracement to, let's see here, move back into this prior trading range. You can see we broke a downtrend through here, and then the dollar just continued to fly higher, finding support at around 105.908. That's where we are now. The RSI through here has been very overbought. That means the averages have been trending positively, very positively, for a very long time. And we may have had a classic example of bearish divergence right here, where we had 2 higher highs in the price, but actually lower highs in the RSI. And that divergence typically tends to mark tops, and you just need to be careful that you're looking at that at the right wave degree. So at this wave degree, we definitely entered into a corrective trend, which has been sideways. Doesn't mean this can't break out higher. It can, but honestly, we could just as well tumble downward. The important levels to watch here are going to be around 107.074, which is the high here, and this low at 105.05-ish. You can see the RSI here is pulling up off of 50, which could mean that we're going to actually come back up and form some sort of topping pattern. It's a process, and it takes a long time, especially with the dollar. The dollar tends to be very tricky. You can see the MACD here swung wildly to the positive, and now we're just starting to correct. And so these could be some big moves we see the dollar making, but it's going to be drastic. In the very least, I think that's a fair thing to say. It's going to be drastic. Let's go to 10-year Treasury bonds. I haven't looked at TNX in a while. You can see that well, that is a wildly bullish chart, but again, that's what we would expect from wave 3. This is generally the strongest wave in a trend, and at this wave degree, that would produce a massive rally just like we've seen here. And once again, we've had one of these leading diagonal triangles, which people suppose are bearish rising wedges, but no, depending on their wave position and the way that they're composed, they can be bullish. And this one, it was. You can see price broke down and then pulled back up and soared. And then here, not the price, but yields, right? So the yields are going up. That means that premiums are going down. Interesting stuff, right? That's actually really interesting because rates are going higher. Well, not really anymore. So there's something here cooking in the bond market, and there has been for a long time, and I just don't have the insight or the information to really say what that is. So let's go check some major indices. Let's go to SPY. It looks like we found a top finally at around whoa, this is the big chart. We found a peak near 457.41. Looks like we had a 161-point extension target at 451.90, and we reached that. This is the upward breakout of a horizontal triangle. And this could be an overthrow where we've had an upward breakout, and now we're going to get ready to head lower, much lower. This was a very big pattern. Mind you, this thing is like seriously over a year long. From apex to beginning, it's about a year. And so this overthrow is also starting to look like it might take just that long as well. We've seen the beginning waves of what looks like to be a corrective pattern. There's a little bit of overlap here at that 437 level. It's going to be important to watch that because this little bump up would be wave 4, or what are we looking at? Perhaps wave B. And wave B might be some grindy triangle. So be ready and watch that carefully. There is, after all, perhaps a bullish divergence between these two lows where the price is at a lower low and the RSI is at a higher low, meaning that we're in for a counter trend now, which, because we've been in a downtrend, means that we'll be looking for an uptrend. And there's a ways to go before we even challenge the downtrend that started in August of 23. And so SPY could be moving sideways to up before continuing downward for a while. And I've been saying that, and this has kind of been my thesis the whole time, is that we're trying to get down, way down here to 336.50. And it's going to take a long time, a very long time. And I successfully forecasted what I called the everything rally, and I kind of lost faith in it. And I was like, oh no, it's not going to happen. And then it did. It was Now, what's really interesting to me is that if you look at the August 1st 1-minute chart of the last year, this year, you're going to notice that the daily SPY chart looks kind of like that 1-minute chart. And so that's something we kind of track in the Discord. It's crazy, but it's turning out that way. There is a very low statistical probability that you'll have reoccurring chart patterns at different wave degrees, and to find a chart at the minute degree that will display on the daily is wildly rare, but it is playing out that way in a conceptual way. Not exactly, obviously, but conceptually. Let's go to QQQ, see what QQQ is up to. I mean, honestly, that actually looks really bullish. Two things can happen here. So we've had this high from 21, massive downtrend, and then this explosive uptrend. This was a leading diagonal triangle again back here in wave A, and we've had this massive move higher. And this looks like a big flag, doesn't it? Where we've got this big rally, this explosive push higher. This could be the flag pull, and then these 3 little waves, 5 to 6 little waves could be the flag, and we could be looking for another breakout. And the amplitude of that rally is massive, from 260 up to 385. That's over 100 points, almost 50%. We could be looking for a wild target. You would take the height of this bad boy and you would apply it to the breakout price of the pattern, which actually be up here at like 386. And I mean, that would take you up into the 400s, new all-time high. That's the bullish case here. On the bearish case, what we're looking at here is an ugly double top. It's going to be hard to say and forecast really what's going to happen until we move outside of this range. There's a big range of uncertainty here, all through here. Until price can break this zone, we don't really know what's going to happen. And SPY is kind of in that similar boat where we've started a horizontal corrective trend. And those horizontal corrective trends are brutal. They are absolutely brutal. They last forever, and no one likes them. They feel terrible to trade unless you're trading an iron condor. Let's go to GameStop down here and just have a look at what's going on. It's just never ending. This downtrend is never ending. Holy cow. We'll go into the hourly time frame here. And maybe I have a different set of drawings actually blank. You know, I stopped charting back here, right? It looks like we had a big corrective trend, and then we got a massive extension. Wow, that is just wild. Down to 1394. Holy cow. This is brutal. Look at this thing. It just keeps going and going and going, which bodes poorly. We still haven't reached 1017 yet, so that's something that's positive. We haven't reached that significant low, but honestly, that's looking pretty bearish still. Let's go to AMC as well. AMC tanked. Okay, this was when we had Ape, I think, come out, if I'm not mistaken, and we're just pushing lower here. These charts are old, and I have not updated them, but it looks like we found support at some old levels at around $7. And geez, let's go into the hourly time frame here, get a little granular with it. Jeez, oh my goodness. It's just brutal. We've had a nice little pop through here, from 7 to 11. That's a good like 30-40% rally. Price is now finding support at around 908. And yeah, you can see we passed that, but that was actually, you can see we passed a bullish reversal level through here. So we actually could be looking at like a positive uptrend through here. That's interesting. It might be time for me to be looking at AMC a little more. Are we getting some like volume today? I don't have any idea what's going on. Let's look at candles here on the minute time frame. I mean, that looks strong. What's volume at? 253,000 a minute at the peaks here. That's not a lot, but relatively compared to the volume in throughout the day, that looks pretty good. This is interesting. I'm gonna have to get back into watching this. It's just curious to me to watch these stocks. Yeah, they don't behave very rationally, do they? So there we go. We covered some indices, the dollar and such, and I'll just get to exporting this. I want to say that, you know, I'll be back regularly, but you never know. It just depends what I have going on. If I'm practicing my saxophone more, then I won't be making as many videos. If I'm writing music, that's gonna take a lot of time too. If I'm playing games with my friends, I've just got stuff going on, you know. And so I hope to continue the channel and just keep going. Just keep it easy, keep it light, and just watch the markets. Thanks for watching. It means a lot. I mean, that there's people still commenting and watching is like mind-blowing to me. So thank you. All right, I'm out of here.